Hello everyone, my name is Clantus and welcome to the clan. So without further ado, let's get into this video. But before I go any further, I would like to ask you a favor to please give this video a like. Just smash the like button because this helps the channel to basically be pushed by the YouTube algorithm to more people, so they too can start following the Senzo Meyiwa Murder Retrial at the Gauteng High Court. So having said all of that, the state calls his ninth witness, which was Mandla Richmond Masondo. So of course he's the guy that really confused a lot of people as to why he was called on the stand as a witness in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, because the cases don't match, and I will explain. So this guy, his job is in the provincial taxi violence unit, which is like an organized crime unit in the, I'm supposing, in the province of Gauteng, basically focusing on taxi violence. So this particular sergeant, Mr. Masondo, was busy investigating a case of murder that took place in Alexandra Township. And so this guy says, understand that he testifies in his evidence in chief that he was investigating a case of murder in the township of Alexandra. So he was busy on the 9th of February 2015 when he got a call at around 4:30. Basically, the call was about a suspect that he was pursuing, and that the suspect was in the area of Alexandra. So him and his partner, who was Constable Dlamini, and other constables, they went in search of the suspect. Unfortunately, when they got to Alexandra, the suspect had gone. However, somebody did whisper to the police as to where he stays, in Melvin near Cleveland. And so they decided to go to Cleveland or to Melvin, where indeed they saw the suspect. They say fortunately they saw the suspect. He was walking with his girlfriend, not quite sure what they were going to, so they kind of like, just to confirm that it was him, they passed him a little bit and then they turned back. And this is when he was about to open the gate of the house where he stayed, they stopped him. And then this is where things really get confusing for a lot of us. This is where also even the witness himself, the sound of his voice, how shaky it was on the stand, it was not making sure as to, does this guy understand what he's talking about? Is this guy fabricating information? Or the witness simply does not remember because it's been such a long time. It's been about 8 years for him since this matter had begun. And then the question everybody was asking was, okay, wait a minute. Even Advocate Mnisi, who is accused number 3's lawyer, stood up and said, okay, wait a minute, judge, is this witness about the case that happened in Vosloorus or the case that happened in Alexandra? Of course, the state stood up and said, no, please give me a chance so that I am able to link this particular witness with that of Senzo Meyiwa's murder. Of course, the court or the judge felt like, okay, let's give the state a chance how all this links up with the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial. Okay, fine. Nisi sat down and then we all took an interest and we started listening as to, okay, how does all of this Alexandra murder of a taxi driver or taxi owner got anything to do with Senzo Meyiwa? And then we thought, okay, let's listen. And then Mr. Masondo continued to testify that when they got hold of this suspect that they've been looking for a couple of months, then they approached him and then they introduced themselves as to who they are and what they were busy investigating. Now, this is where things get a little bit exciting for me, because I was thinking, oh, okay, fine. What are we going to be getting out of this suspect? Then they said to him, they're investigating a case of murder in Alexandra and you are the suspect that we've been seeking for in respect of this particular murder. And then they asked him if they can go into his place. Basically, he was renting a room in a particular house that had like outside rooms. And then apparently the house address is like number 51. I can't remember the street. And on top of that, I don't think I'm going to give out the address of other people's homes that are currently living there right now. So they went in and then they said that when they got into his room, they asked him, which I think it's a lie. I think from the moment they saw the suspect, I don't think what they said in court is the truth, because some of us know how South African police work. They are pretty violent. So the way they were saying it in court, as if Everything was going well. They were talking to him in a respectful manner. They were asking him permission to go into his room. And when they got to the room, then they asked if they can search his room. Now, this is where it got murky for me. Now, what are they looking for? Remember, they are looking for some kind of evidence or a link or a lead that is going to lead them to the murder of this particular taxi driver or taxi owner. We didn't necessarily got the details because the state said, no, you don't have to give the details. We just want to know, what did you go and do at this particular person's house? Then, of course, the state wanted to know, who is this person that you had gone to in Melbourne? Appointed at accused number 3, who was in the dock, in the court, in the North Gauteng High Court. He said, accused number 3. That's the person I'm talking about. And then they said, okay, go on. He said once they got into the house, he and Constable Dlamini went into the house, and this is when they asked for permission if they can search his house. In my mind, I'm thinking, no. Where is the search warrant? Because you cannot go, according to our constitution in this country, no police can come into your house without a search warrant. If they are investigating something, whatever it is they're investigating, they need to have a warrant of a warrant to search. Same goes with your persons as well. No policeman or policewoman is allowed to touch your person without a warrant to search you. So that also includes property. So they said, no, we asked him for permission to search the house. Then that is when they started searching the house. And then Dlamini kind of like put his hand on top of the wardrobe. And then boom, guess what he comes across? He comes across the pistol. And then next to the pistol is a bluish box with ammunition. And then apparently Dlamini asks Mr. Mngube, now that we know that is accused, number 3, that whose gun is this? He doesn't say anything. Mind you, when Mr. Mngube was approached by the police, he was with his girlfriend. So when they were searching the house, the girlfriend was still there. And this is when Mr. Masondo tells Mr. Mngube that if you are not going to answer whose gun this is, then we are going to arrest both of you, meaning Mr. Mngube and his girlfriend. And this is apparently when the girlfriend says, no. Mr. Mngube says, no, I'll answer. This is my gun. And then my question is like, okay, you knew very well that in your house, there is a illegal firearm that could possibly link the murder of what the police are there for, and you give them permission to search without a search warrant. That is when I was like, there is no way that Mr. Mngube gave permission to the police. I think it was a brawl. I think there was probably they were quite violent towards him, and then they entered the house by kicking through the door, and then they start searching. And this is when they came across the gun and ammunition. Now, okay, some people might think, okay, then what is wrong with that? Everything is wrong because everything under the law needs to, there's a process of collecting evidence. Law of evidence will also tell you how evidence needs to be collected in order for it to be admissible in a criminal court. Now, of course, we know that there was no search warrant. There was no, even including the fact that the property did not belong to Mr. Mngube. It belonged to somebody that Mr. Mngube was paying rent to. Did they seek permission from the landlord to search, or before even search, to enter the property? And then once they've entered the property, and then they point out at the room that they are interested in and say, we would like to search that room. Because as a landlord, I would think if I'm harboring criminals in my house that I did not know they are criminals, I would say, police, you are allowed to do whatever it is that you need to get, because I do not want to harbor any criminals in my house or in my property. But that permission was never sought after. And also there was never a search warrant. So anyways, they collect the gun, and in front of Mr. Mngube, they basically dismantle the gun. They remove the chamber from the gun, and they talk about how the chamber had 15 rounds of ammunition. And then in the bluish box, there was, which here there's also a contradiction of the number of ammunition that was in the bluish box. Mr. Masondo says it was a variety of ammunitions, but his partner, when he collaborates, his testimony, he says it was ammunition of about 12 bullets. And also, but while Masondo said it was an ammunition of 16 bullets. and there were a variety of them. But the other one doesn't talk about the variety of ammunition that were in the bluish box. But anyways, so they do all that needed to be done. They go and collect like evidence bags, and then they put the gun and the bullets in one evidence bag, and then his cell phone on a different evidence bag. And then they detain the suspect, which is now Mr. Mncube, accused number 3. And then they take him to Cleveland police station, where he's charged. And then he's taken to Germiston police station, where he is now detained. And then they continue with what needs to be done with with the gun. Meaning now they need to take the gun to ballistic testing or examination to see the type of gun it is, to see if this gun was involved in other crimes. But they said that the gun or the firearm, the serial number was filed off and then taken to ballistic for examination. Now, when Mr. Masondo was being cross-examined by Mr. Mnisi, who I think did an excellent job because he cooked this particular witness, who was also starting to get really pissed at the questions that were being posed on him, because you could tell that his logic in how all this transpired was shaky, was very, very shaky. The first question that he was asked was about the search warrant. Okay, the search warrant came in between the cross-examination, but for me, I was interested to hear that did they obtain a search warrant before they went and searched the house of accused number 3. And then, of course, he admits that there was never a search warrant that was sought after. And he does not mention that there was no need for a search warrant for this particular suspect. But I think according to the Constitution, there is no such a thing as a necessity to have a search warrant or a necessity not to have a search warrant. I think you just need a search warrant if you are going to search a house or property of a South African citizen, or anybody for that matter that is under the sun of South Africa, because the Constitution protects all of us under the sun of South Africa. So of course he was asked what was the model of the gun. He said it was a 9mm pistol that was black in color. Then I thought, okay, fine, now that you are going to ballistic, somehow, the ballistic examination is going now to tell us who killed Senzo Meyiwa and who this gun belongs to. And guess what? The results come back, and the results says what? They said the gun belongs to a juristic person, meaning a company. And the company is what? Fidelity Security Company. Meaning that, okay, a security guard of Fidelity this gun was probably taken from him. Then in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, okay, but according to the testimony of Tumelo Madlala and Umtogo Twala, they said that Senzo Meyiwa was killed with a gun with a will, meaning that it was a revolver. Now, while we're being told about a 9mm, at this point, everybody was like, what is exactly going on here? Because we thought this gun, once they've got it, now is going to give us answers as to who killed Senzo Meyiwa and if that was the murder weapon. Oh no, we never got those answers. That gun belonged to a Fidelity company, Fidelity Security Company. And then we did not find out exactly what did this gun do, because he was asked that did the gun or the test result tell you if this gun was involved in other crimes? And then, of course, Mr. Masondo said, no, he did not seek for that testing. And in my mind, I'm thinking, but then what's the whole point of this witness understanding? If this entire exercise is not going to link who killed Senzo Meyiwa, why are we having a taxi violent case coming into the Senzo Meyiwa case? Can somebody please balance me there? Because I got really, really confused. As a matter of fact, this entire day, there was no link between the witnesses and Senzo Meyiwa and the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. All the state that was doing was gunning for accused number 3. But what Masondo said, he totally exonerated, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I was listening, he totally exonerated accused number 3 from the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. And then when he was asked what was the charge that was bestowed on accused number 3, he said that it was for possession of unlicensed firearm. unlicensed firearm. We are in a murder trial here. Who did this gun kill? We're not here about some taxi driver or taxi owner in Alexandra. We want to know who killed Senzo Meyiwa using this gun. Or was this the gun that killed Senzo Meyiwa? No, we did not get those answers. Then Advocate Mnisi wanted to know from the witness if they read the rights of accused number 3 when they arrested him. And he said, yeah, we did read him his rights. I don't think so. I don't even think that the witnesses know how the rights go. I think the last time they read out any rights to a suspect was when they were in a police academy. I don't think as they were practicing as policemen, they ever read out the rights of anybody that they've arrested, because these guys, they were leaving out very important sections or parts of the rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will and can be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to remain silent. And then they do not give Mr. Mncube any choices of the rights, because they said no, they selected the important parts of the rights, and no, we were choosing which of the rights because the rights are too long. And I'm thinking, but all the rights in there are there for a purpose, and you need to tell a suspect, or you need to inform them of their rights so that they can choose whether they answer you or they don't answer you, or if they answer, they're going to answer you before a lawyer, or they would want to do it by themselves. But there was no choice that Mr. Mncube was ever given by the police, which is evident to me that when they went to Mncube's house and they got him, they did not respect their training. Of course, the state itself, realizing that, oh my goodness, the witness that they brought before the court is making so many blunders and basically obliterating the state's case, and the state then tried to be a little bit sneaky towards the end, which kind of like made me very upset that the judge, remember now we're talking about the rights that were read out to Mr. Mncube. Now the state says, no, the rights, there was a mistake on the witness's part, not to mention that the rights of Mr. Mncube were read out to him, or he was informed of his rights. And so now they snuck that. And then, of course, the defense all stood up on objection and said this will be new evidence when already his evidence in chief had concluded. And then, of course, the judge then went back to Hepworth 1928 and spoken about the fairness of the trial, and that he is bound by that particular by that particular case to rule in favor of the state by allowing the state to re-examine the witness in regards to the rights of the suspect, if they were read and how they were read out. The other thing that was said by the witness was that when they asked Mr. Mncube where did he get the gun from, he said he got the gun from home in KwaZulu-Natal. But then his partner, which is Mr. Dlamini, he did not say anything of that nature. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that you have two contradicting testimony by people that were there when they were making an arrest of accused number 3. One is saying a different story, the other one is also saying a different story, and somewhere it becomes together. And then when it comes to the rights, because Mr. Mnisi stuck on the rights, and then of course Mr. Dlamini at this point, who was now after lunch, he became the 10th witness. He was like, okay, you know what? I was not the one who was reading the rights of the suspect. It was Mr. Masondo, so don't ask me anything because I don't know. Of course, accused number 3, he disputed that he ever told the police that he got the gun from home in KwaZulu-Natal. And then at this point, this is when Mr. Masondo was like, okay, that's his word. This is our word. So after Mnisi heard that there was never a search warrant, and also the rights of the rights of accused number 3 were not read out properly to him, he then made a mistake by asking the court to expunge the testimony of witness number 9. And of course the judge challenged him and said, no, he cannot expunge that. It's impossible that you will do it, because already on record that this is the testimony of witness number 9, which is kind of like true. But the thing is, I thought that he would have taken it to arguments where he was just basically going to say the court must disregard the testimony of witness number 9 as well as witness number 10, because they came there to speak about a totally different case. And secondly, they exonerated accused number 3 from the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. So what are my thoughts about what happened today? I think today was just like Friday. Our time was wasted because the state, I think at this point, is obfuscating. It is shooting in the dark. It's not quite sure what exactly are they going to hit. And I feel like Advocate Baloyi is really doing all that he can to salvage this case. As far as I'm concerned, and as far as I can observe, I think the state is done, of course, in this matter. I've said it as well in the past videos that the state does not have a case. And the judge is just basically listening for the sake of appeasing South Africans so that the judiciary does not get accused of being biased, or the judiciary or the criminal justice system in South Africa doesn't work. And then he did criticize the police work, the incompetence of the police in previous, with the previous witnesses that have taken the stand, that the collection of evidence was very weak. And I think at this point in time when he said that, for me, he said, you know what, I'm going to rule of dismissing this particular case because there's no sufficient evidence to hold anybody accountable. So at the end of the day, for me, after the testimony of Mr. Masondo and Mr. Dlamini, I was like, where's the link between Senzo Meyiwa's murder trial as well as this Alexandra case? I did not see the link. I thought maybe the gun was going to give us a direction as to whom did this gun belong to and what other murders this particular gun has committed in the past. But okay, we did not get all of that. So unfortunately, at the end of the day, it was a wasted day. So let's hope tomorrow the state will have a different witness that is tangible to this particular case that we are all interested in, and that is the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. But other than that, I think Advocate Mnisi did a very good job in agitating both witnesses to a point where themselves they were self-doubting, or they were second-guessing themselves about the job that they actually are or doing, or they've been doing for the past. One is 15 years in service, the other one is 20 years in service, and the way they were basically conducting themselves is quite questionable. Even with the murder of this Alexandra taxi owner or taxi driver, I don't even think that case was ever solved. I really don't think so, because these guys, they were all over the place in their testimony. But anyways, guys, I wish that I had something much more tangible to tell you other than just telling you the story, because it feels like a story time to me than anything tangible in the Senzo Meyiwa case. But anyways, if you like the video, give it a like. If you didn't like the video, give it a like. Anyways, do subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not subscribed yet, and don't forget to click the bell notification so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. Also, my super thanks are turned on, and thank you so much to everybody that is supporting this channel financially. I also highly appreciate all of you who are subscribing to the channel. You are warmly welcome. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know, what did you think about today's proceedings? Do you think your time was wasted by the state? I think so, personally. And also do share this video far and wide. I highly appreciate that. I will see you next time with a new video, with probably a tangible witness this time around. Goodbye.